My magic swirls around my hands. I can feel the blues, yellows, pinks and greens all flowing together before all crashing forth into the face of the Dark Lord. Oh, brilliant. Love that. Okay, Rich, you're up. What do you do? Okay, I swing with my sword for 19 to hit, doing 12 points of damage. Outstanding. In a phrase that I'm sure I've just invented, how do you want to do this? That little skit there, that little story, that nicely summarises my first 5 or 6 games playing D&D and other TTRPGs. My 2 problems were that I completely lacked experience. I'd never done any sort of public speaking, any kind of improvising, anything like that. And also I had a real lack of social confidence. I didn't trust myself to say something good, something clever, something funny. And it took me a while to figure that out. It took me a while to get everything together so that when someone said, hey, what do you do? I did something and did it good, did it well. If this sounds anything like you, please do stick around. I've got some advice if you're brand new to the hobby, really excited to start playing but not sure where you're going. I've got advice if you've been playing for a little while but don't yet feel that you're being your true silly self. My name's Rich, this is Renegade Rolls, and let's all be storytellers together with our friends. First up, new players. Hello, welcome. Come on in. Come join this wonderful, strange, crazy hobby of which me and so many other awesome people are a part of. Chances are you've been invited to play with a friend or you've joined a public group. Either way, I guarantee everybody around the table wants you to be there, they want you to have fun, and they want you to share whatever stuff, whatever nonsense, whatever drama, whatever story is in your head. My first piece of advice is to remember that you've been invited. People want you to be there and they want you to have fun. So accepting that, accept the invitation, accept that you are welcome. Sounds a bit like a cult at this point. It's totally not a cult.
Blood for the blood god, skulls for the skull throne. Blood for the blood god, skulls for the skull throne.
Within this group around the table, hopefully you feel safe. Hopefully your needs are met of that Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And if you're not feeling safe, you should not be there. Just run. Just leave and run a mile. Playing games involves trust. And if you don't trust those around you, you're not going to get very far. But I'm going to assume that's not a problem for you. I'm going to assume that you get on with your friends and you're there to have a good time. What's more likely is that you've never stepped outside of your comfort zone with them. I guess you've got on well in lots of other parts of life, but you've never had to be creative in front of them. You've never had to be silly. You've never had to do a silly voice. You don't have to do a silly voice, by the way. That is entirely optional, but if you do, more power to you. It's good fun. The simple way of overcoming a lack of experience is just to play more. Play with your regular group if you can, or potentially join a group online. If you're looking for an online space which is super welcoming to new people, then I can highly recommend my own Discord server. We've got experienced people, we've got some new folks, but everyone's working together to make the games as much fun as they can. I run some games on there myself, and I trust a few other people to run games there as well. It is such a nice bunch, and you will be very, very welcome. Getting the reps in, playing games, just having a go at different characters, different games, different genres, different systems, that helps so much in getting over the beginner's jitters. And as you can see from the shelves behind me, it's not just Dungeons & Dragons. I really enjoy a load of different systems and genres. The tougher challenge, the one that needs a lot more work, is overcoming the social fear. That's the fear of being laughed at, the fear of being not quick, not clever, not smart enough. I guarantee that you are all those things if you have the opportunity and you're in the right environment. This video is inspired by a friend of mine who played with me for a one-shot, and when they were playing, I wasn't sure they were enjoying themselves. They were answering questions. They said, oh yeah, I swim with my sword, I do this stuff. But I wasn't feeling that they were quite engaging with the story. When I asked them after a session, hey, did you enjoy that? Did you have any stars and wishes? They said, yeah, I enjoyed it, but I don't feel fast. I don't feel like I've got the speed to join in with you. That was fair enough, and I was worried I wouldn't actually hear from him again. But the next day, he sent a whole wall of story, a huge tale of his character's perspective of what happened in the game session. And I had this happy smile on my face because he had the best time. He thoroughly enjoyed himself, but he said that he just wasn't able to get it all out in the session. He's someone who's now super enthusiastic to play again, and I've been coaching him with these little improv games to help him sort of get a bit faster, make him feel a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more confident around a table. A quick tip to improve your improvisation skills: you're thinking on your feet, you're coming up with a snappy answer, whatever someone says. There's a game in improv we'll play called A to C, where you'll say, cup makes me think of saucer, makes me think of flying saucer, and then we go to the next person. Flying saucer makes me think of alien, makes me think of Sigourney Weaver. The great thing about that is there is no time whatsoever to come up with your word. All you can do is listen actively to the person speaking and then just respond with whatever's in your head. Often it'll be a direct association, it could be a contradiction. Hot makes me think of cold. But the important thing is to be fast rather than being good. There's no wrong answers either. The worst thing you could do would be to sit and go, because that takes momentum away and everything slows to a crawl. When you start playing Dungeons & Dragons or any other game, the temptation is to make your greatest idea, your grandest fantasy, the greatest hero which ever did live. But I'd argue that's maybe not the right approach. Your first piece of art, your first piece of music is unlikely to be your best. And so your first ever character is also unlikely to be your best. I'd highly recommend doing lots of little characters. Come up with 5 in a row and then pick your best one. Play as many one-shots as you can. Dip into different systems, dip into different rules. Find your happy place, find what makes you comfortable, and then notice that and begin to push outside of that. Some people get very into a certain type of character, a particular way of playing, which means that they only explore a fraction of the game and only part of what they could potentially do. So I would encourage you, make a character of every class, make a character of every species, experiment with the system, find out what you like. Because you might surprise yourself. You might think, well, I'm new to this, I should be the gruff, strong barbarian, so I don't have to speak much. But you might find you really enjoy playing the bard, the wizard, but it's only by stepping outside of your comfort zone that you're able to grow. Playing as a self-insert is completely fine. If you want to be a Mary Sue character who is just you, but cooler with better hair, then great, do it. Enjoy yourself, have fun, and don't feel bad about it. This has an advantage as well, as when someone says, well, what would your character do? You already know, because it was what you'd do. But I'd hope for your sake that you're able to learn that you could play different characters, that you could play someone who is outside of your lived experience, someone who maybe makes different decisions to you, because that is one of the joys of role-playing. It's stepping outside of yourself and real escapism. Folks who've been playing for a little bit longer, I'd love to hear your stories of how you've overcome adversity, how you've felt more comfortable playing games. Please do comment below and jump in on each other's stories if you like. My style of play focuses on the roleplay aspects of the game. I enjoy the mechanics and the systems, but my favourite part is weaving tales with my friends. If you're curious to know more about my style of play, then this video is a great primer, a good introduction on the kinds of games that I like to run. And this one is about something completely different. I'll see you in one of those where we can be storytellers together with our friends.